When the past is reopened, complex PTSD in the wake of public exposure. For some people, the release of the Epstein files wasn't just news. It wasn't curiosity. It was an outrage at a distance. It was a body reaction, a sudden tightness in the chest, sleep that disappeared, images that wouldn't stop looming, a sense of danger that made no logical sense, yet felt completely real. Because when stories of organized abuse, power, and silence surfaces, they don't stay on the page. They land in the nervous system that already knows what betrayal feels like. My name is Fawzia Faizi Shah, licensed clinical social worker. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Let's get started on this topic of complex PTSD and Epstein files. Complex post-traumatic stress disorder develops not from a single terrifying moment, but from prolonged, repeated trauma, especially where escape was impossible and the power was unequal. Survivors of chronic abuse, exploitation, trafficking, or coercive control often carry trauma that is layered, relational, and deeply embedded in how they experience safety, trust, reality itself. When high-profile disclosures like the Epstein files becomes public, they can act as a trauma activators, not because survivors are weak, but because the content mirrors lived experience. Abuse hidden in plain sight. Powerful people protected, victims silenced or disbelieved, system failing to intervene. For someone with complex PTSD, this is an abstract injustice. It's confirmation of what their body already learned. The world can be unsafe and no one comes. Here is what often happens psychologically and physiologically. First, the nervous system reacts before the mind does. The amygdala, the brain's threat detector, doesn't care that this is just news. It recognizes patterns, power, secrecy, exploitation, and immunity. Second, survivors may experience emotional flashbacks, sudden waves of fear, shame, helplessness, or rage without a clear memory attached. These are not memories you can picture. They are states you relive. Third, there is often a collapse of trust. Complex PTSD is relational trauma. When survivors see institutions fail again, it can reinforce beliefs like, no one is safe to tell. Justice isn't real. Abusers always win. Fourth, many experience hypervigilance or shutdown. Some can't stop consuming information, trying to make some sense out of it. Others go numb, disassociate, or disconnect from their bodies and relationships. And here is the part that often misunderstood. This reaction is not about the individual details of the case. It's about what the case represents. Yeah. So what do we do with compassion and responsibility? First, we stop asking survivors to just turn it off. Avoidance isn't always possible when trauma is societal, repeated, and publicly amplified. Instead, we support choice, pacing, and boundaries around exposure. Second, we name this truth clearly. Being triggered does not mean being stuck. It means your nervous system learned something in order to survive, and it's responding exactly as designed. Third, clinicians and educators and media and professionals, we must practice trauma-informed awareness. That means that acknowledging the psychological impact of how abuse is reported, discussed, and sensationalized. And fourth is, as a society, we move beyond shock and spectacle towards accountability and prevention. Survivors don't need more proof that abuse exists. They need systems that believe them before files are released. And finally, to those living with complex PTSD who felt themselves unravel during these revelations, you're not broken. You're not overreacting. Your response makes sense in the context of what you endured. Healing does not mean pretending these stories don't exist. It means learning slowly, safely, that the present is not the past and that your body no longer has to carry the burden alone. I hope that this video was helpful, and if you liked it, please subscribe to my channel and hit the like button and leave a comment or two for me. And also, I'm very curious to know if how you have been impacted by this current situation as the files have been released, the Epstein files that have been released. Thank you.